My guest needs no introduction. My name is Jeannette. This is Gary Yourofsky, and he is going to do a master class today on how to answer these dumb fucking questions that we keep getting over and over and over, the same questions. So I figured, you know what, who better than to train us and help us answer the arguments and the justifications for still eating animals in 2026. So I have a personal question before we get started. So hi everyone. We're going to do Q&A at the end. So put your questions in the chat. I'm bringing up the chat right now and Gary's going to help answer questions. I have a personal question. So I'm about to move. Everybody knows I'm moving to Thailand. It's such a Have you been to Thailand, Gary?
I have not, no.
Okay.
But
It's
I hear great things about it.
it's such a peaceful, the people, the culture, they're so peaceful, Buddhist country. How do they still, how do they eat animals if they're such a peaceful culture?
Because everyone's full of shit, even the people
Okay.
who claim to be peaceful. It is the first precept, cause no harm, and don't ask me how Buddhists are missing out on the first precept, but it's the same thing with Christians and Jews and Muslims. Thou shalt not kill. Genesis 1:29, I give you seed-bearing plants for food. The Garden of Eden was vegan. What in the hell is everybody doing? And you know what? You can't be peaceful when you're eating flesh. You can't be peaceful when you're consuming somebody else's milk. You cannot be an ethical, logical human being if you are oppressing and exploiting somebody else.
I agree. Yeah. So I'm just trying to wrap my head around it because I'm learning so many things about the culture there and they praying all the time and they're so nice and so peaceful and they're eating dead animals 3 times a day.
I don't know why people think praying over the dead animals exonerates you from the murder and the exploitation that you are taking part in. But yeah, and by the way, I wouldn't be so harsh on the praying and all the nonsensical rituals if people were good people. Peace begins at the dinner table. It begins with what we choose to eat every day, what we choose to wear every day, how we choose to align our ethics. So the praying, by the way, praying doesn't bring you closer to God. Praying doesn't bring you closer to heaven. Memorizing a 2,000, 5,000 year old book doesn't, doesn't bring you closer to your creator. Being a peaceful person would bring you closer to your creator. Being kind, being decent, being loving, especially to those who are weaker than you, those who need your assistance, those who need your help, your stewardship. Taking advantage of somebody else, which is what humans do to all the animals, it does not sit well with God.
No, no, no. Okay, so thank you, because sometimes I feel crazy, but knowing you exist, it's a better world. And thank you so much for our last conversation. You really changed me because, I mean, I was still eating with people that ate dead animals, but because of our conversation, no more, no more. Somebody has to take a stance.
Yeah.
Somebody has to stop this, and it's going to be one person at a time. And so my first question, okay, as far as like the debates. So some people say, well, one person going vegan won't make a difference. One person doesn't make a difference. What do you respond to that?
It's the only thing that has ever made a difference. If you choose not to rape a child, you've made a difference to some child. If you're a man and you choose not to rape a woman or beat up your wife or your girlfriend, you've made a difference to a woman, to your girlfriend or to your wife. So it's the only thing that has ever made a difference. And why would you want to follow the crowd? I mean, saying that one person's not going to make a difference puts you in the crowd category. And the crowd has never once been on the right side of justice. The crowd will get you killed. There's always been a small group of people that have wanted to change the world and they've had to teach the larger group. So I don't know why anybody wants to fit in. That's what that means too, is oh, I can't make a difference. So I'll just fit in with everybody else. Your goal in life should be to fit out, especially when we all claim to be original. I'm so tired of this narrative. Everyone's original, everyone's creative. If you eat meat, cheese, milk, and eggs, you are fucking lame. There is no originality in you whatsoever. Be different. And yes, stand up. Stand up to injustice. And I don't care. You know what? If the whole world were killing animals, I still wouldn't take part in it. If the whole world were raping children and raping women, I still wouldn't take part in it. So stand up, you can make a difference. And think about this too. When you decide to change your life, and then somebody else changes their life, and then somebody else, and all of a sudden 10,000 people, 100,000 people, a million people change. Everybody knows about supply and demand. That is exactly how these businesses that exploit animals are going to change and no longer exploit animals and start producing wholesome products. So you can't influence the corporations of the world with your money. Don't give them money to be evil. Make sure you give your money to vegan food items and vegan clothing items. Make sure you're not going to the circus, to the rodeo, and to the zoo. One
Yeah,
person can make a difference.
I agree. And every single person that decides, it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. And then it's not one person anymore. Thank you. Yeah, that really makes sense. Okay, so we have a lot of people watching. Do me a favor. I see you guys in the chat. Do me a favor. Put a thumbs up if you're vegan. And put your little bacon steak emoji if you're not. Put your little steak or whatever you do over there, eating dead animal body parts. Put that steak emoji you guys like to leave. Now, if you're eating dead animals, so I know who's here. So Gary will talk to who's here, okay? Because we don't know who's here. So put a thumbs up if you're vegan. Put that stupid ass steak emoji if you're not vegan. The next one, Gary, is, and we've heard this a billion times. You've answered it a billion and one times. Some people will say that plants feel pain too. Everyone take a deep breath. So, Gary, how do you answer the age-old reason for eating dead animals that plants feel pain too?
If there was a puppy floating in the water drowning and there was a carrot floating in the water, would anybody jump in to save the carrot? How come farmers don't refer to their crops as livestock? Even though I despise that term, there's truth in that term. Cows, pigs, chickens, and turkeys who are exploited by farmers are referred to as livestock. How come when there's a barn fire, which happens several times a year, nobody's ever concerned that corn got burned alive? Nobody's upset. Oh my God, did the oats get burned alive? No, even meat eaters are like, oh my God, did horses get trapped in that fire? Even the cows they're exploiting, they're like, oh my God, the cows got burnt alive. Did the firefighters die when they were trying to put out the fire? Nobody is ever concerned about the corn, the wheat, the oats, and the soy that are sitting in bags in that barn. It's an absurd, ridiculous comment. I don't even understand why people do it. And I want to be clear. I dig plants. I got one right here. I was looking at this plant before you had called. Carmen was like, "What are you looking at?" I'm like, "That sweet little plant." But that plant and the plants in my house, I got Persephone over here. She's a Draxina plant. I got Bambi, the bamboo plant over here. Tomatoes, carrots, corn, wheat, oats, and soy are different from plants. And maybe we're wrong for calling things plant based. It's a different kind of plant. It's a fruit, it's a vegetable. These are things the earth pushes up food, or the trees drop food down for us to consume. That's what we need to be eating, not the beings that walk along the ground. Don't be ridiculous and tell me that tomatoes and cows are one and the same.
Yeah, I like that. What the carrot and the puppy floating. Guys, we're gonna use that one.
And by the way, in America, I did an Instagram post about this, but it needs to be brought up again. So every Thanksgiving, whoever's in charge of the country, whoever the president is, Democrat or Republican, they pardon a turkey on
Right.
Thanksgiving. Okay, they actually exonerate one turkey from being murdered. How come they don't exonerate a carrot? How come they don't exonerate a potato, a yam, a blueberry? it would be absurd. I used to tell the students when they brought this up during my lectures, I said, if I came to this classroom today and gave you a 60-minute lecture about ethics, about being kind to blueberries, would anybody even stay for the 60-minute lecture? How quickly would you walk out? They would all kind of, turn away, embarrassed a little. I'm like, stop being ridiculous. If I came and talked about plant rights, you'd laugh me out of the room. Even if you disagree about animal rights, you listen to my speech, you're taking in what I'm saying, you're watching the slaughterhouse video. And why is it so horrible to show kids slaughterhouse videos, but not show them people picking apples in an orchard?
Mm.
Right? No, I mean, schools, when I would speak in second, third, fourth grade classes, and they would say you can't show the slaughterhouse video, you're going to traumatize the kids, which I think is complete and utter bullshit. But they had rules in the school that if I wanted to get in, I would have to follow those certain rules. But it was always okay to talk about picking apples from a tree, picking raspberries from a bush. That was always fine. Why? Well, because one's not going to traumatize the kid in any way, shape, or form, and the other one is going to be shocking and make them scream and cry,
If it's
which is good,
so,
by the way. Crying is
yeah.
good.
Yes, it's normal to cry when you see an animal being hurt. Okay, so like I'm just curious your opinion. These meat eaters that say that plants feel pain, are they saying it because they are like guilty or they're just idiots or they've heard it from someone else? Why do you think they say it if it's so ridiculous?
All of the above.
All of the
People are automatons. They just regurgitate things they've been told. In fact, to prove to you how robotic people are, I've lectured in 31 states in America. I've done a couple different countries. No matter where I'm at, how come I get the same exact questions? How could I be in Israel? How could I be in North Carolina? How could I be in Texas, Michigan, Ohio, and have everybody say to me, where do you get your protein? What about B12? Well, animals don't count. That's why they were put here. Everyone's regurgitating the same shit that they've heard because humans love making excuses. Have you noticed that? I think our favorite pastime is making up excuses to do nothing. This is why it took 400 years in America to convince white people not to own black people, why it's taken hundreds and thousands of years to convince men to let women have equal status, and they're still fighting for equal status around the world. People would rather make excuses than admit that they're wrong and change. But that's all the plant stuff is, and that's why they say it. And by the way, they're not even truly concerned. It's disingenuous. No one is concerned about tomatoes, whether they feel pain. And by the way, if you have to hook a machine up, because once in a while I get somebody that sends me a picture of a tomato hooked up to some kind of device that shows that there's like waves going on. If you have to hook somebody up to a machine to prove that they're conscious, they're not conscious. Because I don't have to hook a cow, pig, chicken, turkey, or fish up. I don't have to hook a human being up. If you have to go to those lengths, you're full of shit. Absolutely 100% full of shit.
I agree. I agree. Okay, now before we continue, thank you so much, Gary. This is so helpful, and everybody in the chat is really grateful that you're here. Tons of vegans, one dead animal body part eater, and tons of vegans, but one. Wow, you're really the minority here, Norar, whatever your name is. I can't read that. But before we continue, Gary, can you tell us what's going on with Sasha Farms? How is it going over there?
Before I do, I want to say to the one meat eater,
Yes.
if you don't change your evil ways, I'm going to be head stepping. I'm going to rock your ass like Led Zeppelin, leave you twisted in the night like a dead gremlin. Body trembling, stumbling, mumbling like Tyson when he hit Burbick and he was sidestepping. I'm getting ready for a follow away. I'm getting ready. That was a sneak preview. I'm going to be doing something with a reggae band soon, and I'm dropping a rap over their track, but that's going to
Oh,
be the intro. Sasha Farm is doing really good, by the way, I've been doing all these podcasts. So people have been making donations. Things are going really well. We're not out of the woods, but please help. Go to sashafarm.org. There's always around 200 animals there, rescued animals that have a wonderful place. They're no longer being exploited. They all have names. They don't have numbers. And if you're in Michigan, I would recommend getting over there in May. I think it's May 16th and maybe the 18th, but in mid-May, there's the spring social. I'm going to be there. Carmen's going to be there too. If you want to hang out with me, get some photographs, I'm probably going to be recording some Instagram videos there. But try to get up to Sasha Farm. Always remember, you have to volunteer, though. You can't just go and visit the animals without volunteering. You got to pick up some poop. You got to feed the animals. You got to clean the water bowls. But after you're done volunteering, of course, hang out with the animals. But and vegans, for the vegans listening out there, these animals have nobody else to rely on but vegans. So it's important that you tie the money to sanctuaries. I would prefer a Sasha Farm, of course. I've been going there for 30 years. But if there's a sanctuary in your area, I'm not going to condemn you for helping out that sanctuary. Help out animal sanctuaries all around the world. They need help right now, and they're all struggling.
Yes, I put the link in the chat, guys. And then when I download this and I post it again on Saturday on my page, I'll have the bar at the bottom. I figured out how to do it. So sashafarm.org, right?
Correct.
Sashafarm.org.
Yes.
Please, guys, thank you so much. Okay, let's continue with the top questions or
Oh, by the
comments you're
way,
gonna. Oh,
by
yes,
the way, to that, back to the plant thing. This was
plants
always a
have,
good
yeah.
one that I used. Don't forget this one, everybody. When a human being is brain dead in the hospital, what word do we use to refer to them as?
A vegetable.
Oh, you don't feel anymore. You're not alive anymore.
Ooh.
You're a vegetable. They don't call you a cow, a pig, a chicken. Oh, that person had a horrible accident. He's brain dead. He's just a fish. No, he's a vegetable, meaning there's no more life. It's gone. Just a vessel, just a body, no sentience, no feeling, no thought. And that's, by the way, this is not so you might say all those other things, all the vegan just came up with it. That's your terminology. That's terminology from a meat, dairy, and egg eating society, from a medical community that doesn't embrace veganism. They call a brain dead human a vegetable.
How come we never thought of that, guys? That's fucking genius. Yeah. That's
This is a
genius.
crazy brain, and there's more in here. I just can't access it right now. Maybe I can smoke a joint real quick. You won't believe what would come out after I get high.
But that's from now on. That's what I'm going to say. When somebody says some stupid shit, plants feel pain, then I say, well, how come when somebody dies in the hospital, that's all you have to say,
Brain
guys?
dead. Brain
They call
dead.
it a
Brain dead.
vegetable.
Yeah, yeah. Right,
When
right.
somebody's brain dead, they call it a vegetable. Yeah, right, right. When they're on the brink of death and they're like,
And there's no more life. I mean, when the brain goes, that's it. There's nothing left but a body.
that's
But there's
good.
no more pain being felt.
That's good. That's good. Okay. The next one is really, we've all heard this one. My grandma eats meat and lived past 100. All of a sudden, everyone has a grandma who lived past 100 and ate meat. All of a sudden. What do you say to that one?
She got lucky. If somebody hits the Mega Millions every once in a while and the Powerball, but if you think that you're going to make a living playing the Mega Millions and the Powerball, it's not going to happen. Yes, people can get lucky health wise. People can smoke cigarettes, a pack a day. I also heard this story too. My grandma's 100 years old. She's been smoking 2 packs of Camels every day for 75 years. Yeah, you can get lucky, but this isn't about luck and this isn't about health. Everybody needs to understand veganism is about ethics. It's about doing right. It's about being logical, being kind, being decent to somebody else who has never harmed you. So whether you get sick or not sick is irrelevant to the whole matter. It's whether you are exploiting somebody else, whether you are paying somebody else to steal somebody else's baby from them, whether you are paying somebody else to chop somebody's head off and cut them up into pieces, whether you are paying somebody to end somebody's life while they're a baby. Keep in mind, meat, dairy, and egg eaters aren't just animal eaters, they're baby animal eaters. They're baby animal killers. Pigs are killed off at 6 months. Chickens are killed at 6 weeks. Cows around 2 years old. They've all been genetically modified too. That's why they grow to full weight at such a young age. So there's nothing natural about it. And if your grandma got lucky, fine. She got lucky with health. Good for her. She still wasn't an ethical person. She still was a horrible being. She still was committing evil every single day. Great. She's healthy, but she's evil. Who cares? But this also proves another point. I think the main reason preventing people from embracing veganism is selfishness. I don't know why it's so difficult for meat, dairy, and egg eaters to think of the victims instead of themselves. It's always me, me, me. But what I dig about veganism, it's always them, them, them. My life revolves around the animals, not me. Your life is the same way. How can I reduce and eliminate exploitation and suffering from my life? And veganism is the best decision anybody can make to eliminate and reduce exploitation on this planet. I mean, it's rough enough to be an animal on this planet with us. We take everything, we take their habitats. We build roads through their habitats and houses and homes. We pollute the environment with chemicals. Do we have to exploit them, steal their babies, and kill them and eat them on top of it all? It's such a superfluous thing that doesn't need to be going on. You can save the lives of billions of land animals every year and trillions of marine animals if everybody just stopped eating them. Why add to the misery that animals are already going through? It should be our goal to reduce that misery. This is why veganism is the best thing anybody could ever do for this planet.
Absolutely. So why do you think they call vegans annoying? Is it because we live in a narcissistic society? What are your thoughts on why they keep calling vegans annoying?
Yeah, well, listen, if you're only thinking about yourself, which is what meat, dairy, and egg eaters only do, and somebody's always in your face saying, hey, can you think about somebody else? The beings that you're victimizing, well, how else would they describe us? You would have to say we're annoying to ignore us. You wouldn't say, oh, man, I love listening to Gary preach and rail on me all day long. I love when Jeanette goes off on me and tells me I'm an evil person. No, of course they're going to call us evil, annoying, whatever it is to justify their inane existence, to justify their psychotic existence. But listen, we're not the only annoying beings on the planet. You don't think slave abolitionists were viewed as annoying to the white slave owners? You don't think women's rights activists over the years were viewed as annoying to the men of the world that didn't want to allow women in and still don't want to let women in most of the world these days? Everybody who's fighting for justice is always villainized. Always. They're never we don't even really accept and praise people until way later on. For instance, Dr. King, who everybody seems to adore these days, rightfully so, he wasn't loved during his time. He was trying to make massive change. It wasn't until later on when society looks back and says, "Oh, what in the hell were we doing to black people? Segregation? Denying them the right to vote? Saying they can't drink out of the same water fountain?" It's not till later on that human beings who fight for change, who fight against injustice, are finally embraced. One day, I think animal rights people will be embraced. Unfortunately, it's going to be a long time from now. I mean, 98% of the world still isn't vegan. They're still defiant. I don't understand this either. Why the defiance with this? Why would you be defiant about not causing unnecessary suffering and pain to cows and pigs and chickens and turkeys? Why do people hate these animals so much? What in the world have they ever done to us to deserve it? Honestly, I get why people hate ticks or mosquitoes. They're annoying. They attack us. They bite us. What the hell has a cow, a pig, a chicken, or a turkey ever done to us to deserve the wrath that we hurl on them? Honestly, I'm not even trying to be philosophical with this. I don't understand the defiance with being nice to these beings. And if people would spend some time with these animals, which is why I always recommend that people go to sanctuaries and bring meat, dairy, and egg eaters to sanctuaries so they can see these animals. I think if they saw them and hung out with them, they would feel differently. But think about this, these animals are hidden away on purpose. They're kept at a distance. You don't get to hang out. I mean, maybe when you're a kid, somebody takes you to a petting zoo, which is a form of exploitation, by the way. But if anybody ever came in contact with a cow, pig, chicken, or turkey, it was at a petting zoo when they were a kid. And guess what? They were giggling and laughing. They were playing with the animals. So the question I always ask is, what in the hell happened along the way? How did we start out being in awe of animals? How did we start out? Listen, all of our children's books revolve around the animals. The Disney movies, animated movies, all about the animals. Stuffed animals. The kids sleep with stuffed animals. But then we lie to these kids. We don't tell them what the hot dog is, what the hamburger is. We don't really tell them that the chicken fingers they're eating was actually a chicken. We don't tell them where the eggs came from. We don't tell them about the factory farms and the slaughterhouses. We don't tell them about these horrible places and the electroejaculation of male animals to obtain sperm, the artificial impregnation of female animals, stealing their babies. Again, if the kids were able to see this stuff, they'd all be vegan too. I once gave a lecture to a second grade class, and when I explained what veganism was and that I loved animals, all the kids thought they were vegans too because they loved animals. I said, everyone's vegan in here? So the kids think they're vegan because they love animals, but mommy and daddy lie to them and they don't tell them what they're eating. No child would be okay seeing a cow, pig, chicken, or turkey having their head chopped off.
Yeah, well, yeah, right, of course. Mommy and daddy lie to them, or also, Gary, mommy and daddy might really truly believe, and here's the next thing that you've heard, which is humans need to eat animals for protein. Like, so many people still in 2026 believe that we need to eat meat for protein. So, can you please, how do you answer that one? We need to eat meat for protein.
It's the least important nutrient. It's so absurd, too. They're not even bringing up the important nutrients. Protein is in everything. I used to challenge students that would bring this up. Name me one food item that doesn't have protein. You can't do it. Even iceberg lettuce has protein. There's protein. Protein is abundant in the plant kingdom. Lentils have protein. Beans have protein. Grains have protein, like barley. I eat barley a lot. Usually have a half a cup or a cup of barley. It's 25 grams of protein. A can of beans is 25 grams of protein. Nuts and seeds have protein. Split peas have protein. Vegetables have protein. Even fruit is 2 to 5% protein. Unless you're going to starve yourself to death, which I don't recommend, unless you're going to engage in anorexia or bulimia, do you know it's impossible to have a protein deficiency? In fact, it's so impossible. I also used to make a challenge to the crowd. Can anybody tell me what the disease name for protein deficiency is? Nobody knew it. It's called kwashiorkor. You know why nobody knows kwashiorkor? Because it doesn't fucking exist unless there's starvation involved. So the whole thing is absurd. And by the way, and protein, by the way, people are eating way too much of it. But I want to be clear about this. I'm not here to tell you how many nutrients you should get, what nutrients you should get, as long as you're getting it from the plant kingdom. I don't care if you eat whole bait. I don't care if you eat frugivore, whole plant foods, if you eat impossible burgers. I don't give a fuck if you eat Ruffles potato chips all day long. If you want to harm yourself without harming somebody else, I'm not the health police. You have every right to do that. Shit, if you want to take heroin and harm yourself, I don't give a fuck. If you want to kill yourself, I don't give a fuck. It's your body. But you have no right to be killing and tormenting somebody else in order to be unhealthy and unethical. So the whole protein thing is absurd. But let me just say this, if you want lots of protein, there's actually a new product on the market. I started eating it a few years ago when it came out by Big Mountain, and they're making tofu from fava beans, zero fat, 64 grams of protein in one cube of tofu, 64 grams. If you add the barley in the morning for 25 grams of protein, plus a can of beans for 25 grams of protein, plus you eat all the bananas and the fruits and the veggies throughout the day, you can. And listen, there are big ass vegan bodybuilders, Patrick Baboumian, John the Bodybuilding Vegan, Tori Washington. Stop acting like you can't be big and strong when you're vegan, or that you can't get enough protein or whatever else your body needs. Working out in the gym, by the way, makes you big and strong. It doesn't really matter what you're eating. It's the fact that all these guys live in the gym that makes them big and strong. But I love, of course, that these vegan bodybuilders are choosing to be ethical and not being selfish by opening up their circles of compassion. So protein is completely an irrelevant thing. And by the way, I'd like to know where people are getting their quercetin from, their copper from. Right. There's over 100 nutrients, and then there's micronutrients. Most of them are only available in the plant kingdom. And all the nutrients that you think you're getting from the animal products, by the way, the animals are eating that stuff directly. So why are you filtering your nutrients through somebody else's body? It's absurd. Go to the source directly. And how about some phrases we like to use? I like to use people's idiocy to prove their idiocy. But okay, so what people say, you're as strong as an ox. Oh my God, you mean the vegan ox? That's when you're strong? Nobody says you're as strong as a lion. You're as healthy as a horse. Holy shit, nobody says you're as healthy as a snake, healthy as a hyena. No, you're healthy as a horse. The vegan animal, strong as the vegan animal. We even have phrases that we admit to the fact that you can be big, tough, and strong. The biggest animals on this planet are vegans: elephants, rhinos, hippos. Hippos, by the way, the real kings of the jungle. And it hurts me to say this. I'm a Leo, August 19th, okay? Lion, you put a lion in a room with a hippo, he's looking for the way out. Nobody fucks with a hippo. Nobody fucks with the hippo, the baddest animals on this planet. And by the way, elephants walk 20 to 50 miles a day. What carnivore animals walking 20 to 50 miles a day? None. In fact, after a lion chases down an innocent zebra and kills that zebra, or a snake eats some kind of critter, what do they do? They sit there for hours to days trying to digest it. Meanwhile, the elephant is walking 20, 30, 40, 50 miles, eating mangoes and other fruit from the trees, and eating some grass, and just walking and walking and walking.
Wow.
Oh, and gorillas. Gorillas too. I mean, come on, these are bad, tough animals. These are vegan animals. Stop filtering your nutrients. And by the way, I want to throw this in because I wanted to do an Instagram video on it soon. Maybe we'll just knock it out right now. For women out there who are pregnant, everybody agrees that if a pregnant woman smokes cigarettes, does crack, heroin, drinks alcohol, it's dangerous for the fetus. And it is. You're an idiot if you do any of those things while you're pregnant. But you know what else is idiotic? Eating meat, cheese, milk, and eggs when you're pregnant. You don't think that affects the fetus? Or everything else affects the fetus? But not hamburgers and hot dogs? And cheese and eggs? Are you kidding me? You're planting the seeds of disease before they even exit the womb. Think logically for the first time in your lives. Veganism is where it's at. Nobody gets sick from eating blueberries. Nobody gets sick from eating bananas. Now, I want to be fair about this. There are other ways to get sick. but you can eliminate the food aspect of getting sick because all of our main diseases come from meat, cheese, milk, and eggs. But stress can make you sick. Insomnia can make you sick. Chemicals in the environment can make you sick. Smoking cigarettes, drinking alcohol. There are a lot of things you can get sick from, and it's tough enough. Why add to the risk by consuming flesh, blood, veins, muscles, and tendons, things that ooze out of a cow's udder and things that come out of a hen's ass?
But Gary, what are people supposed to do when they get pregnant and they go to the doctor? And this is a real story. I had a coworker who was vegan. She went to the doctor getting her checkup as a pregnant woman. The doctor says she has to eat chicken. So she started eating dead animal body parts again because she was pregnant. What are people supposed to do when a doctor tells you you have to eat dead animals?
Fire that doctor and find a sane doctor that actually knows about nutrition. Find yourself a vegan doctor. Nobody needs chicken. Nobody needs flesh. People need nutrients. So whatever nutrients the doctor thought that the woman needed from chicken, go get the nutrients from a plant-based source instead. It's simple. And if you listen to idiots, you will commit atrocities. Stop it. And again, listen, all you got to do is look around, and if anybody thinks that I'm exaggerating, engaging in hyperbole, 98% of the world is not vegan. Why is sickness rampant? How come everybody's grandparents that have died, parents that have died, everybody that dies from heart disease, heart attacks and strokes and cancers? Run down the list. How could this be the fault of veganism if only 2% of the world is vegan? How come there's a drugstore on every street corner in America? I thought everybody was getting everything they needed. I thought everybody was super fit and super healthy eating meat, cheese, milk, and eggs. How come are you telling me the hospitals of the world are filled with sick vegans? You go pick the hospital in your city. You go walk through and you go count how many people are vegans in there getting treatment for cancer, getting treatment for heart disease. Just look around. This is what's so frustrating. Just look around. This is like the cave story from Plato, the cave allegory. Like everyone's sitting in this cave looking at a fake world, listening to fake stories, and the real world. Just turn around. Just take your blinders off. Just pay attention. And numbers like, nope. I don't want to pay attention. I'm a robot. I'm an automaton. My doctor said do this. My mommy and daddy said do this. My religious book said do this. The government said do this. The media told me to do this. I will follow orders and be a good little robot. Try being original like the vegans of the world. Try being an individual for a change.
Oof. Automaton. That's a new word for us. Whoa, that's good, Gary. I love talking to you. Thank you for existing. Thank you for being here at the same time as us. Because listen, you are making a big difference in this world. Raven said she saw your speech 12 years ago, went vegan overnight. Thank you so much, Gary, for what you do. Well, she
Thank you,
said
Raven.
thank, yeah, she said thank both of us, but really, thank you, Gary, because 12 years ago, vegan overnight. Look at that. Okay, we do
Oh, and
have a
by the way, Jeanette,
yes.
this is 29 years vegan. All you fucking punks out there telling me that a 29-year vegan can't be strong and big and tough and bad. Show me your pipes too. It's funny. I get people on Instagram saying, you don't have a muscle on your body. I'm like, what? Can you even change your commentary? Are you looking at me? There's a picture of me flexing. Stop it. What are you talking about? It's like when I liberated the mink in 1997. So the fur industry has a standard press release they send out every time there's a fur farm liberation. They say the animals died from starvation, they got run over by cars, they froze to death. The liberation I took part in happened in April. What do you mean freeze to death? In April? You didn't even change the press release? You just put out the same one for the one that was in December? And what do you mean starve to death? Overnight? Just like that? Really, they're in a cage. They're not starving to death. I open up the cage. They're running in a field. They all starve to death, just like that. freedom causes starvation. Amazing. So the same thing when these meat, dairy, and egg eaters make comments, they're like, Gary, you're not even big, you're not even tough. Look how small you are. You're weak, you look sick. What the fuck are you talking about? Can you even change your commentary? And listen, I'll be fair. If you want to say, oh, Gary, you sound arrogant. Oh, you think you're better than everybody. I don't, but I can see why people would make those comments to me. Why would you make a comment about me looking sickly? It's so bizarre to me, but it shows you how robotic and automatons. I will say what everybody else says. I will do what everybody else does. And then I'll even label myself as original. The most common thing. How could the most? It's by the way, it's kind of like diamonds. Do you know what's bizarre? I didn't buy Carmen a diamond ring, by the way, when we got married. I never got any of previous girlfriend a diamond. Diamonds are everywhere. Why does everybody think it's so cool and original to get a diamond when it's abundant? Same thing with eating meat. You think you're original because you're doing what everybody else does? That's the complete definition of unoriginal.
Um, yeah, I agree. Yeah, we got a lot of questions. Trying to see which ones. Okay, we'll answer some of the questions because you guys are here and we love you guys and thank you so much for being here. Give this video a thumbs up and share this on your page, please, because one person is gonna watch this and go vegan because of this video. So please share this. Do what you can today. Okay, so someone says, what about people who have been told they need to eat meat because of anemia? Well, Gary just said that. Fire
Yeah.
that. Go to a vegan doctor. See what he says. Go to a plant-based doctor.
Well, here's what's weird again. So I would get students in my classroom lectures. They would raise their hand during Q&A and say something like, "Yeah, my doctor told me I had to do this," or "I have a disease, so I can't be vegan."
Oh, yeah.
So I would say, "So wait a second. You're not vegan?" "No." "Have you ever been vegan?" "No." "So you're not vegan, you've never been vegan, but veganism is responsible for your disease?" So this person who asked the question is not vegan, was not vegan, has anemia. Doctor says you got to eat meat, cheese, milk, and eggs to prevent anemia, but you have anemia eating meat, cheese, milk, and eggs. I think I mentioned this before. Brain melt. It's happening right now. Like my brain fucking melts with the idiocy of people. Everybody's sick. Everybody needs health care. Screams about not having good health care. Everybody's taking pills, vitamin pills, and this pill for that, and the drugstores and Rite Aid and Walmart, and there's a drugstore everywhere. But oh, the vegans are unhealthy. No, veganism is unhealthy as they're all walking around eating pills and being sick. So again, back to the defiance that I don't understand why you have to lie. I really wish, listen, of course, first I wish everybody would embrace veganism and understand right from wrong. But I at least wish that people would shut the fuck up with these dumb excuses and just say to me, I don't give a shit. I used to say that when classes would go crazy and scream. I said, why can't you guys just tell me you don't give a shit? And then somebody, of course, would always scream, yeah, I don't give a shit. We don't give a shit. Well, then why the fuck are you telling me protein, B12? God says it's okay. Why are you lying? That's why I'm getting into a debate with you because you're lying. If you just say, I don't care and I don't give a shit, guess what? I lose my edge. I
Yeah.
don't know what to say. If the speech didn't make you care, I have nothing else to say. Let's just move on. So, why do you have to lie about these things and come up with inane excuses and rationalizations to be cruel? Just say you don't care, and I'll move on to the next question, or I'll leave the class. So this is all these comments about, oh, my doctor says I need to eat chicken, a doctor says I need meat for anemia. What about God? It's like, oh my God, just say you don't care. Why do you have to drive us crazy with lies? Because if you lie, I'm going to be in your face to tell you the truth. If you use dumb excuses, I'm going to point out how stupid they are. But if you're just going to say, I don't care, I'm apathetic, I'll try to make you care. But if that doesn't work, well, then I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. Yeah, great point. Just say
You
it.
want to
Just
shut me
say
up? Just say I don't care. I'm like, okay, next person. Does somebody care so I can help that person?
But
Honestly,
what, yeah, but what you said earlier, it was so good. You said, like, basically, I took notes in the chat. People love making excuses to do nothing.
mhm.
And, like, if they cared, they'd have to do something. So they'd rather go through this rigmarole of these ridiculous excuses to maintain doing nothing different. Wow, what a
It's
sad
comfortable.
existence.
It's comfortable to be in an old habit. Tradition is comfortable. I get it. Honestly, I
Yeah.
do. It's not right, but I get it. But I don't know why you would want to stay in this comfortable existence when you know you're doing something wrong and evil and you know you can make a difference to somebody else's life. Why, again, why they, I want to know why people hate cows, pigs, and chickens and turkeys
Well,
so much. I had
well,
somebody this morning on Instagram, Jeanette, tell me that, Gary, if you let me know when when a human comes across a hungry bear, if the bear will let us go by without killing us. So that's why he's going to eat cows, pigs, and chickens and turkeys. Now, the whole thing's absurd, but let me just point out the extra absurdity.
yeah.
So, if the hungry bear was going to kill you, you're going to take it out on the cow? Well, once you take it out on the bear, how come you don't eat bear steaks? How come you don't eat bear fingers? How come you're not killing bears? The cows certainly wouldn't do that to you. The pigs, the chickens, and the turkeys wouldn't do that to you. I don't understand how, if the bear was going to kill you, you're going to take it out and go, you know what, bear? I'm going to fucking kill that chicken because you're going to kill me. What the fuck is wrong with everybody? It's like it's dude, this is almost like I don't believe this world is real anymore. I believe that I'm in a video game and somebody is fucking with me and and sometimes I think it's funny. I'm like this has got to be a joke. And
Yeah.
I'll look up I'm like, "Okay, come on. Can you stop this now? Humans cannot be this dumb." The smartest, dumbest beings that have ever existed, human beings, right? Technology, brilliant. Ethics, idiots.
The most advanced idiots walking the planet. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
advanced idiots.
Yeah, cause I also I feel you, man. I feel you. This has got to be a some type of video game. This can't be real
It's a
because
simulation. I don't
it
have proof,
has
by
to
the way.
be.
I can't preach about simulation like I preach about animal ethics, but I'm now positive we're living in a simulation and it's just a huge joke. And everything, even though I no longer care to speak out for human rights issues, you can't tell me that there's a police force in Iran called the morality police that used to pick up women who weren't wearing their burqas and rape them and kill them. Yeah, really happened. That's what was going on in Iran with the morality police. So you can't tell me that all these innocent beings, all these cows and pigs who haven't done anything wrong, that this isn't some kind of fucked up simulation where somebody's just having a fucking huge joke. And listen, I have a great sense of humor. Honestly, I love George Carlin. You've heard me talk about that. And Larry David and Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy and Buddy Hackett. It goes on and on. I can Will Ferrell and Seth Rogen. I will laugh my ass off watching it. Their dumb humor. But this has to be some comedian in some other universe has set this whole world up. Hey, let's put these psychotic two-legged devils with all these animals and watch they're going to kill them and torture them all. And then we'll put different sizes, shapes, and colors of human beings amongst each other. They're going to fight and kill each other. And it's going to be constant war and constant strife. This can't be the way it was supposed to be. This has to be a psychotic simulation.
Yes, and it that helps. That helps actually. I'm sure that helps because it's like we're trying to make sense and it can't make sense. So what are we doing? Driving ourselves crazy trying to make sense of this world. And so I'm glad you brought up the bear comment, which I didn't originally understand, but then you explained it and now I get it. Because I can't wrap my head around these people. Their excuses. So then people say, back to the debates, how do people answer the question of animals in the wild kill each other? So are you telling me that's wrong, Gary?
Well, listen, 75% of animals in the wild are